So, you see, Shiva has now this little ashram. I moved the couch so she could have this space. Anyway, today we're on the dog beach in Tel Aviv, and this man, a father of 3 children, like he has a baby, a very, very young baby, and a toddler, and like a kindergarten age kid, and a wife, and he's screaming at me to get the dog out of the beach, but he's like, it's at the edge of the dog beach. And as I'm talking, this beach inspector who does absolutely nothing comes and tells a very nice couple with a baby poodle, like a 7-month-old poodle, get your dog, go to the other side. But the other side has like pit bulls that are free, but they don't supervise it, even though there's a huge sign, no dangerous dogs allowed. So Shiva's there and she's playing. She's like a puppy. She's a year and 3 months. And she's playing in the water and he's screaming bloody murder. And these Americans are sitting there from Indiana. And then I get really upset. And then I talk to the Americans. Though I spent formative years in America, I am not, in fact, an American. For the following reasons, I'm sitting there. And then this really overweight, fat, old woman says to me, she's sitting there watching the whole drama. And she says to me, I really don't want your negativity here. I'm just trying to enjoy my last day. And I want to tell her, you stupid privileged bitch. Sorry to use this language. It was International Women's Day. But like, what kind of people come to another person's country and talk to them in such a way, right? Only in Israel do people allow themselves to speak so badly. I mean, even Israelis speak badly about their own country. We don't have self-respect. Let's be honest, we speak so badly about ourselves, most of us here. So what do we expect from other people? If you don't have self-respect, other people are not going to respect you. So they just went there, can you take your negativity somewhere else? And I wanted to tell her, excuse me, lady, my ancestors fought to make this country. America definitely didn't help Israel become a state. So what the hell are you saying? I mean, America does everything in their power that Israel doesn't protect itself. They are constantly making declarations. Joe Biden has been so bad for Israel, has been making so many negative statements about anything. Every time there's like a terrorist attack, they're always saying, oh, you should really be careful of your reaction. Yeah, you can invade Iraq and murder civilians on land that's not even next to your country, not even bordering your country. But we don't have a right to protect ourselves from terrorists that are coming and murdering in the center of our city, shooting people in the center of our city, and just, we don't have a right to protect ourselves. And you have a right to sit on your ass on a beach chair, and I can't complain. I'm not allowed to complain. No, I'm not allowed to complain. You're allowed to sit there on your ass, and you're not allowed to say anything. I can't take my dog to a dog beach because it's 1 centimeter over the border. And then I asked the man, why do you come here with babies? I wouldn't come with a baby to a dog beach, near a dog beach. There's so much other space. But then he insists on coming there because I don't know why. Maybe he had parking space. I don't know. And then his wife wants to talk to me. And I'm like, I really don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it. So it's like, there's no excuse. And then he says, why don't you go and demonstrate? Like assuming I'm one of the demonstrators. And he was the negative one. But women, instead of supporting other women, she's like, you're being negative. And I said, oh, wow, you're really right. Thank you for pointing that out. And I actually meant it at the time, but then I thought, really? I mean, was I negative? I want to go to the dog beach. And my dog went 1 centimeter over the border, maybe, like other dogs, because the other side of the dog, which is really a small space, has a lot of dangerous dogs, even though there's a huge sign that says no dangerous dogs are allowed. And I know you're going to attack me and say, pit bulls are so sweet. I raised them with babies. But you know what? There's a reason why all over the world there are laws against pit bulls. I mean, pit bulls and Palestinians, it's about the same. They're like, oh, they're so nice. It just depends on their environment. No, it doesn't. If you're a person who wants to kill other people, who shoots people just because they're Jews, you're not a nice person. No, you're not. And there's no excuse for killing and targeting people just because of their ethnic origin. And yes, some people will say Israel is not the same. We do not do the same. It is not the same to destroy terrorist weapon rockets, like thousands of rockets, storage spaces, and prevent terror attacks, to going to Dizengoff and just shooting people crossing the street. I mean, Dizengoff, Tel Aviv, it's never been a Palestinian and Arab area. It's been sand. It was sand before. Sand. Yeah, you can look at documentaries. And then the fact that we have a right to be here because we are really don't come from any empire. We're not like people that came from England or Holland or Spain or Portugal or wherever they came to, or Italy, I don't know, wherever people came to America and just decided, oh, this is our land. And then they became religious and say, this is, God gave us this land. No, God didn't give you this land. You took this land by violence. And then you criticize Jews for wanting to live in a tiny, tiny piece of land. That's the only place they could have gone to for many, many times. I mean, what do you think my ancestors from Ukraine, while there were pogroms, where could they have gone? They couldn't have gone to the U.S. because not everybody was allowed to go to the U.S. Or maybe they didn't want to. Maybe they were actually following what the Bible said and they went to Israel. Maybe that was the reason. I don't know. They're not alive to ask. All I know is there's a small little territory called Dog Beach. And this little puppy, or big puppy, was screamed at by a man that could have gone anywhere. There's a huge, like, not huge, but there's a whole strip of beach. Why do you sit next to dogs and complain about dogs? So, to the woman from Indiana who's probably not watching this, thank you for visiting my country that we sacrificed so you can visit it. Because otherwise, if we didn't have an army, if we didn't have people protecting the borders, we wouldn't be alive. There wouldn't be an Israel to visit. And I don't think you really want to visit Gaza, do you? It's not a very nice place. There's really no democracy there, even though people claim there's no democracy here. I think there's a little bit of a difference. I think if you're gay or if you're in any way different or if you're a dog, you wouldn't really enjoy living in Gaza, would you? So, or if you're a woman, actually, it's not a really fun place to visit. Because if it was a fun place, then there wouldn't be all these refugees going to Europe and the US or the free world, because you wonder why they don't go to Saudi Arabia. I mean, okay, you don't like living in Iraq or Syria or wherever. Why don't you go to Saudi Arabia if it's so much fun to live in free Palestine? I mean, if it was Palestine, how much freedom would there be? Even in Israel, we have to fight for basic things like Dog Beach and just a lot of things we have to struggle for, because we are difficult people. We fight with each other so much. We really don't need enemies. But the Americans sitting there in the beach chair watching the drama, and this woman saying, oh, your negativity, I really don't need your negativity. Well, I really don't need you to come to my country as a tourist and fucking judge me. Sorry about the F word. I hope you didn't hear it, Shiva. That's all I have to say. Hopefully, I didn't bring too much negativity into your life today. This whole thing about negativity and positivity sometimes is a little bit too black and white for me. You know what I mean? People are complex, and yes, some things are pretty clear cut, like the fact that people should have a right to live and not have to be afraid to cross the street in their own city, or they're going to be shot by a terrorist. And then Joe Biden, oh, we are really concerned about the people overreacting. Overreacting? Really? Overreacting is sitting on a beach chair and judging people when you come to their country, I would say.